Hello once again. Right away, let's do some housekeeping. Firstly, you want to make sure to record in the right environment. A small, quiet one that has as little or even non-existent echo and reverberation as possible. We don't want sound traveling and bouncing everywhere in the room. Echo occurs when a pulse of sound can be heard twice, and reverberation occurs when sound waves continue to vibrate after the original sound source has been stopped. You may not have access to a recording booth or a studio to record your podcasts, but there are some workarounds that you can employ. One workaround is to shut the doors and windows in the room you intend to record in. Turn off any gadgets or devices that tend to make some noise or a humming sound. You would also want to keep your pets, kids, and any other persons out of the room for the duration of recording so as to get the best sound. Then, in order to reduce sound bouncing around, you would want to fill the room with items like a rug, pillows, thick blankets, furniture, and the likes. I do record from time to time in my bedroom, and what I used to do back then was to hang my clothes around the room, place a thick blanket on my recording table, in addition to the thick curtains I had over my windows. These were basically efforts to fill up the room and swallow up any noise. There is every tendency you will sweat a lot if you did not turn on air conditioning for a while prior to your recording session. If you begin to feel choked up, then record in batches while stepping outside to catch some air until you're done. Another workaround is to record in your closet or wardrobe. If you recall, in the introduction video, I played 2 audio samples for you. Those audio samples were recorded with my phone while in my wardrobe. That's a close attempt to record as if I was in a studio booth. I usually prefer this method if I'm the only one talking in the podcast. Once again, there's a tendency to sweat heavily, and I advise you to record in batches to avoid exhaustion or suffocation. Other workarounds include recording under your blanket, recording inside your car with the windows wound up, among others. Now, here's a picture of Ira Glass recording an episode of his radio show during the corona pandemic lockdown in 2020. For the second housekeeping tip, you'd want to pay attention to your microphone technique. This refers to how you angle your mouth towards the mic, the distance between the microphone and your mouth, the volume of your voice, among other factors to consider. If you will be recording with your phone's microphone, it is advised to put your phone at an angle instead of directly in front of your mouth. This is to prevent the mic from taking in gusts of wind from your mouth. It is also advised to keep a consistent distance between the mic and your mouth, and also keep a consistent volume in your voice. Of course, you can always make edits to the volume in the post-recording phase, but keep in mind that you want to have a workflow that takes up as little time as possible. And let's not forget that posture is also important. You would want to be as still and quiet as possible yourself. Any rustling of papers, moving of your hands or body parts will definitely increase the noise level in your recording. Thirdly, it is advised to develop a warm-up routine before hitting the record button. You do a voice warm-up with a vocal exercise of some sort, clearing your throat, running through and practicing your script, practicing breath control, and taking some water to stay hydrated, thereby preventing the natural click sound a dry mouth makes. You have to do all this so you can ease yourself into the mood for a great and naturally flowing recording session. Another housekeeping tip is to run a check on your recording equipment. This refers to checking your phone's battery status, testing your microphone for connectivity, running a test recording with your recording software and microphone, testing for volume levels, evaluating internet connectivity because some of the apps you will work with need you to be connected to the internet, and among other checks. Check to see if plugging your phone to a charger while recording will cause a humming sound due to interference. If it does, then it is advised that you keep a full battery charge on your phone before recording. If you can, it helps to make a sound engineer your friend who can serve as a good feedback guide for your recordings. This is one way you get better and more strategic with subsequent audio recordings. For example, I learned from a sound engineer buddy of mine about something called room tone when he listened to some of my recordings I sent to him. You see, we learn every day. Let's stop here and get started with the tips we've covered thus far. There's more housekeeping to do actually, but I don't want to overwhelm you. Rather, I've created a document with links to additional resources that showcase more things to consider before recording. The pre-recording phase is equally as important as the other phases, and without it, all other phases are in complete disarray. I mean complete disarray. Before we head on to the next lesson, I have an assignment for you. As a way to warm up before your recording session, I'd like you to place your microphone at different angles, with the first location being directly under your mouth, and hear the variations in the neatness of your recordings. Let me know your observations about which type of microphone you were using, whether your phone's internal mic, a lapel mic, or some other microphone, and the angle that gave you the cleanest sound. When you're done, come join me in the next lesson.